All right, so I ran 10 miles today. I went a 7 mile run, and I did that on a pretty good pace. 7 mile run. During that time, I recorded my fastest 5K, or no, 10K. Fastest 10K on record since I've had my Garmin app. Forget how fast it was. On my last mile, mile number 7 was like 7 something. That was pretty good. And I got caught pouring rain at the end of it, but it was all good. And then later, and it was kind of hilly what I was doing. So afterwards, I ate some food, rehydrated, chilled out. Then I went to a very flat area about 20 minutes away, and I ran a 5K. And I did that the fastest recorded 5K since I've had my Garmin watch, which is about years. I don't know. I think I got it at the beginning of COVID, maybe. I don't know, so maybe like 5 years. I can't believe COVID is COVID-19 and it's 2025. Crazy. So I got the fastest 10K and fastest 5K on two separate runs. So I ran for the 5K. The first mile was like, I don't know, like 7:40 or something. Third was like, or maybe 7:20. No, 7:40. And then I think 7:20. Or no, 7:22. Freaking look at it. I'm trying to freaking remember. 5K laps. 7:22, 7:21, and 7:17. For me, that's cranking. I weighed in this morning at like 185, but then after the first run, I was like at 182 and a half. And I was 185 and a half. I lost like 3 pounds after this first run. Pretty interesting. Then I did some 20 minutes on the stationary bike, and then I did just 15 minutes of swamming. And I used flippers most of the time because I'm still just like focusing on just like the breathing because I'm not a good swimmer, but it doesn't matter. I'm gonna figure it out. And hit the sauna, and I also then I did some hill sprinties on the way back to the house. Pulled over, did some hill sprints. Good hill down the road. So I'm training for my Ironman Chattanooga 2025. And the reason why I'm doing that, I am doing it to challenge myself and keep myself sharp, if you will. But the main message that I want to convey with these videos, and I'm trying to work on make essentially like a film or a really solid YouTube video at the very least, and for this 50 mount, getting to the tallest high point of every high point in every state. Why I'm doing that, and the Ironman that I'm training for is part of that. Because first I wanted to bike to all these places. It was I had bit off way more than I could chew, but we're not going into that right now. The thing I want to convey is that people, I want to encourage people to find meaning, to dive into the meaningfulness of life. And now I think that doing that properly and doing that fully, and properly is just doing the best you can. Like there's not going to be a perfect, you're not going to live life perfectly. There is no perfection. But I think for a lot of people, it seems like people are turning back to religion, specifically Christianity in the United States. And I think that's probably good in most cases for most people. And, a lot of people criticize God or the idea of God. There was, I think the Hitchens and those guys and Harris and Dawkins were very much a net negative on society, because I think they really strawmanned God and religion, and they have, you know, Dawkins and Hitchens have English accents, so people take them very seriously. I think they're very smart. They are smart, but they're not as smart as they think they are. Because God, the idea of God and living and that and the meaning of life are really, they're wrapped up a lot, and the idea that life is worthwhile is very much wrapped up in the idea of God and the right way to live. These things are all woven, intermeshed together. And you know, one of the things I'm thinking about, I think it was either Hitchens or it was I don't forget that guy's name. He's got that real wonky nose. He's just like wow, and he's I think his last name's Fry. He plays Sherlock Holmes' older brother in movie, the Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey Jr., whatever that guy's name is. But he was asked in an interview, like, what would you say to God? Oh, and I really got to wrap this up. But it's hard to cram this in a 3-minute video for the shorts. What would you say to God if you don't believe in God, but you die and there is a God? What would you say to him? What would you say to him then? He was like, I would say, how dare you? How dare you allow for the concentration camps, the starvation of children, blah, blah, blah. And people are like, oh, damn. He's going to call God, wow. And you know, people are like, how could a loving God allow this? An all-loving God. Well, you know, an all-loving God, an all-powerful, all-loving, all-knowing God is not the only conception of God. And for me, it's very easy. It's just like, how could a God? He's not all-loving, or he's not all-powerful, or he's not all-knowing. Maybe there is a God, creator of this physical realm, and they actually have limitations. What if the God is trying their best, actually, and this notion that they're all powerful and they could do anything at any time is incorrect? Boom, problem of God solved. I mean, prove that God's all loving or not all loving. Prove it. Like, you can't. A human cannot. So, you know, that's something for me that it's just like I've I went through a long period of trying to figure all this stuff out, and religion and theology and spirituality and philosophy and all that jazz. And eventually I just had to abandon all that and just be like, I'm just going to focus on what's in my realm of control. And that's it. And you know, it's very easy. Like, God possibly set up a framework for some reason, and it's outside of our control, and that's just part of the game. Like, for instance, systems have rules. Like, let's just say there's a system, there's an existence framework. Let's call it soccer, because that is a system. That is a situation. Now, if I'm playing soccer, I can't use my hands unless I'm doing a throwing or I'm the goalie. If I use my hand to hit the ball, penalty or whatever, I cannot pick up the ball and go and throw it in the net. I mean, I physically could in a game, but eventually if I keep doing that stuff, I'm going to get kicked out of the game. I'll no longer be able to play the game, because it's just, that's not how you play soccer. Everyone knows that. Everyone's in agreement of that. If, like, I got to the pros and I started doing that, I would find myself out of a job. People would think I was insane. Literally, no one in the English Premier League has ever done that. Like, just, oh, you know, I'm on defense. I'm going to pick up the ball and run down the field and throw it in the net. Like, people would literally think that you would not be able to get away from that for the rest of your life if you did that. People would think you are a lunatic, and they would be probably correct in thinking that. Now, so that's just, you know, an example. Obviously, it's a metaphor for life. Maybe God set up this framework where it has limitations, and for some reason, I don't know, and it's outside of our comprehension. And maybe you get some insight when you're done with life. I don't know. But I know that I have been bogged down by negative thinking, nihilism. Life is pointless. What's the point? It's pointless, therefore it's hopeless. Therefore I feel bad and I don't know what to do. And everything's pointless and I don't want to take anything seriously. And you just get so pessimistic. I know what that's like. But what are you going to do about it? And, there's so much history where people have gone through such horrific things. And it's just like, why? What is the point? It's so, then it's just like, how can I even base a perspective on life from like, it's just based on my perspective where my life has been so easy compared to people. I was listening to people who survived famines, or people who didn't survive famines during World War One, and people had to resort to cannibalism. And it was like talking about, it's like, imagine resorting to that and then you survive and you get through and then just trying to go about your life afterwards knowing that you did that and trying to be like, oh, hey, how are you, how's your day? Oh, I'm good, Bob. Oh, nice day out. Like, have that type of normal relationships with people around you, knowing that you know ate your nephew. And people did that. That happened to people, and people have starved to death. And it's very unfortunate, and it boggles the mind to think about, like, why is that even a thing? Of course I can't believe in God. And I lose meaning, and I lose hope, and it's just so pointless. And the fact that other people suffer and I'm suffering, it's like my suffering's not as bad as them, and then I feel guilty about even feeling bad. But still, you know what? My life actually isn't that fun. I'm not having a good time. I get that. And the reason why I'm doing all this is really, really to just try and, you know, it is to be like, hey, look at what I'm doing so I can offer that encouragement. And I really feel like, I mean, I have a son coming on the way, and I'll be here in a few months. And it's just like, before that was even in existence, I realized, I was like, I need to figure this stuff out before I bring any more humans into the world. And although I do still feel at a certain place, at some point, it is just a bet. It's just a risk to, it's a Pascalian wager to believe that life is worthwhile. And I feel like I really have to be in a place where I am living as best as I can, doing what I feel is the right thing to do, so I can honestly say to my future children, this is what you should do. And I did. Like, I gave life 100%. I've struggled through things, and I've figured some stuff out. So I can just not, like, well, if my dad, or if my kid comes to me dealing with some things that I haven't, like, resolved. One of them mainly was being like, dealing, how to deal with these deep issues. Like, it's unacceptable for me to just be like, I don't know. I thought about that stuff, but then it was too much for me, so I just dropped it and didn't think about it anymore. I really feel like I have to get through it, and, like, doing this is a part of that process, because I feel like I'm on the right path when I'm participating in this project. And I've experienced a lot of things that, you know, give me feelings of confirmation that I'm on the right path. And I just have to, and that's it. It's like, I have to, at a certain point, you just have to accept the fact there's stuff outside of your control, and you just have to be willing to believe that your life is worthwhile and keep going. And, I can say that with sincerity. Like, it's like I've experienced that and wrap my head around that for myself. And it's not just something I read in a book and I'm just regurgitating. I get it. I, I get it as much as I can right now. And that's why I'm just here to encourage people to keep going, get after it. And that's it.